Alright guys, welcome back to the shop and the channel. We are today working on a couple, actually we're only really working on one project. We finished a boat that needed a top end job for a friend, so that got finished this morning. Now Dan is working on a sweet WS6, turbo WS6. So we're going to show you that today. We're hooking up a boost leash on it. We have a car that got dropped off. It's not going to get touched for a little while, but we are going to show it to you guys just because it's really cool. We're pretty excited about what it's going to be. And yeah. Today is introducing a new project, showing you guys a quick project. And then this week we are not taking in any more cars. Potentially even next week we're not taking any more cars. We're just going to get caught up on what we have, which is a ton of work lined up. And that means a lot of content for you guys. So thanks for checking back in. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below so you guys can see all the updates that we're posting. Hopefully more and more as time goes on. And if you are a current subscriber, obviously, welcome back. And thank you guys for checking in. So behind me I have Greg Zoetmulder's WS6 F-body. This thing is immaculate. I mean, it is arguably the cleanest car that we've had in the shop. Both inside, underneath, engine bay, everything is spotless. He's extremely meticulous when it comes to his cars, and it shows in this one. So I want to show you guys just a quick overview on it without giving you too much detail, but at the same time show you guys what we're doing to it, and then it's a good way to show Greg how well we're taking care of the project he asked us to do. So it is a WS6, I think. Do you know how many miles are on it, Dan?
I think it's like 30.
I think it's got about 30,000 miles on it. It is a 76-75 precision turbo on it, I believe. It's a Huron Speed turbo kit. Mike Lough Racing Engines built the engine. Sniper intake manifold, Sniper throttle body. It has a Big Stuff 3 controlling everything. Super clean though. He has a Mighty Mouse catch can. I think he wants to change that. Moroso billet covers. There's a turbo down there. But it really is just a super clean build. Brakes are stock. Interior is flawless. You can see we already have everything apart here. So Greg actually took a lot of it apart for us, but we had to go a little bit deeper. We had to take the driver's seat out, center console's all apart. We're putting a boost leash in. We are also wiring up a trans fan, line lock, and the boost leash itself. So all the vacuum and wiring that are associated. We'll touch about that in just a second. So everything's out to put buttons in the leash on the center console. He got the Deed and Bear CO2 kit that we sell, and he has everything on here as well. He made his own plate to mount the bottle, which looks really good. He's got the line ran. He's got some of the wiring done himself, so we got to do is just finish it up, make sure it's loomed and nice. But I mean, this car is just super nice. Show you guys, got RC comp wheels on it. Okay, so on this car, it is a 4L60 car still, but it makes some pretty good power. Now he's turned it up, he got a little bit more engine in it, and he asked us to take care of the wiring on the boost leash, and which is kind of an honor because he's really meticulous, and after seeing the Lightning, he's friends with that guy, he was happy with the wiring on that car, so he said, I'm comfortable bringing you guys my car, so that's kind of always nice. So what we decided to do, now somebody else has already tapped into some fuse box wiring down here. And they also have added a couple spade terminals in the fuse box. Now obviously we don't typically do things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. That does give you a fusible power link if you choose the right side of the fuse. And typically, if you don't have any problems, it's never going to cause any problems. Now, we don't want to do it that way. So what we have been doing, and you guys have seen it a lot on the channel, is we've been using the painless add a fuse or the relay panels. So this one we need a few constants, or one constant and a couple ignition hots to run everything that we're adding to it. So instead of tapping into a bunch of stuff and butchering the stock harness, we are going to be adding another painless product, which is a potted relay and fuse panel. I think Dan's working on extending the constant hot on it right now. So I'll just show you. This is a small one because we don't need a whole lot of circuitry added to this one. So this is just a single unit. It is potted, so it does not get any water up in there. It has one constant. The top one's constant. These two are ignition hots. And then this is the ignition trigger to trigger the relay. So all you really need to do is run power to the relay from the battery, a fuse power source to this, and then you have a bunch of links to go to what you need to add. This is a super clean way to do it. It gives you exactly what you need to run all your powered accessories without tapping into any factory wiring that you're going to add any kind of current draw to. Obviously, you got to tap into something for the ignition hot, but that's it. Dan made a good point. We will be using an add a fuse for the ignition hot, so you're not technically adding anything. Now, when we say add a fuse, we're not adding a spade terminal onto a blade fuse like you just saw in the fuse panel. That is not the same thing. An add a fuse is actually a unit that plugs in, gives that existing circuit a blade fuse like it had already, and then adds another fusible link through that power terminal. And since you only need about 3 amps to trigger that relay, it'll be perfect. And then he's right, you will not tap into any factory wiring at all. And then you have to add a ring terminal onto a battery, battery positive post to the battery itself. So Dan will bring you guys the next update on the WS6. That's going well, super clean. It's gonna be a little bit more work to do it right than rather just tapping into stuff and running it all over the place. But obviously we want it to be as clean as the car is, so we gotta be meticulous. Let's talk about the next car. Obviously we love the Cobras, and because of the YouTube channel, we have Wes who brought his 0304 swapped 01 Cobra here. Now, it started off as just a 3.4 Whipple install that went south in his garage, so he wants us to finish that. But now it is going to turn into an automatic E85 race car. And I just want to show you guys the engine bay because it looks pretty sweet, and I could kind of tell this is going to be a pretty badass build. So let's check it out. So it already has a 3.4 crusher on top of this thing. He's already got the wrinkle powder coated valve covers. I'm not a fan of how the fuel system is set up, so we'll probably be changing that. We also got to take the blower off, change once again some fuel system components, make sure the intake is fully seated down. He was having problems getting some bolts in it. And then we just got to kind of clean up the engine bay and make sure that the install is completed properly. But it looks sweet. The car is nice. I'm not sure how many miles are on the chassis, but on the swap itself it's supposed to have about 60,000. It's on CCW Classics with 315 drag radials out back. I mean, it's a T56 car currently, but we are on the look for a 4R70, and this thing is going to be nasty. I think it needs coilovers in the rear to maybe drop it down a little bit more, but for the most part, this thing is sick, and it should make north of 800 horsepower on E85 relatively easily. All right, so that's all you're gonna see on that for now. Dan will bring you an update on the WS6, and that'll wrap up our video. All right, guys, we are past due on giving you an update. Now that it's 10 o'clock at night, we might as well update you before we wrap it up, and this video bleeds into tomorrow also. So we're still working on the TA. Making stuff nice always takes longer than you think, but we have the solenoids mounted. We just gotta get some fresh hardware here so it looks nicer. All the lines are routed and hidden behind this crazy intersection of everything. When the cold side pipe's on there, it kind of hides a lot of it, and then most of it was there already. So all we have is like a wire added to this ground bolt there. Then you can see the 2 vacuum lines that we had to add for the leash, and that's pretty much all we've added in here. We even tucked some of the wiring that we needed to add into the harness that was already there, so that's got to get zip tied all the way down and put it back to how it appeared before. Otherwise, that's it here. We got to put an 1/8 inch MPT bung in the bottom of the cold side pipe, which is why it's off. It's on the ground over there. We have to put a bung in the bottom, run a vacuum line into the cabin, and then all the vacuum line routing and wiring will be done. We just have to figure out where we want to put the boost leash map sensor, and we have to run a trans brake relay. The leash is designed to run on a is designed to run on a 2-wire trans brake. The 4L60, 4L80, they use a 1-wire Rossler trans brake typically. So you have to put a relay in that basically just combines the signal. How do I say this? It kind of combines like the signal, the power, and then output to ground. So you can use 2-wire signal input to the relay in order to get 1 wire out. That's essentially what you do. So that's what we got left. Then we're going to start putting the interior that we have back in. The wheel well's got to go back in, and we will just make sure that it works without leaking. turn the CO2 bottle on, put it on manual override. It should be able to make 20, 30 pounds on the hat pretty easily. And then as long as that works, she'll be good to go. Good morning and welcome back to the second half of this episode. We are, Dan is still working on the TA. We got to do the trans brake wiring and all those things that we left off with last night. I am starting on the fuel system on the white notch. If you guys have not seen this in the last video, the fuel system was completely rotted out when we went to change the pump. So I have all new stainless lines. I have a new tank. We have a new filler neck. We have a bunch of stuff. So as you can see, everything's kind of scattered on the floor. It comes kind of like bent up so they can fit it in boxes. So I'm starting to lay out like the vent line and make sure it's all straight. Everything's all stainless. And now I'm going to start taking this fuel line off the car and start figuring out where everything's going to go. And that's about it. So got to get rid of the old rotted stuff. Probably got to get a new rubber hose here. And then take all this stuff down, drill out some rivets. We'll have to be putting some rivets back in so it's kind of factory. I'm not sure if it came with new straps. I'll update you guys that in a second because those look kind of rough. And then get everything in there. So we have the full tank ready for the notch. I have the filler neck now I'm about to put in. This is the aftermarket refurbished ones. It's actually really nice. They black painted it and everything. It looks really good. The old one was all rusty from casualty on the inside of the tank. There's the new tank. All the assemblies are in it. New pump hanger, new sending unit, Aeromotive 340 stealth pump, and the vent is all switched over. I got the stainless straps hanging in the back already. So this is pretty much ready to go. I'm going to put the filler neck in, and then Dan will help me put the tank in, and the fuel system is just about completed on this car finally. On the fire chicken, everything's going well. Dan's putting the interior back together. How's it going, Dan?
Good. Almost done.
All the wiring's hidden.
Yes, sir.
If you break it, it's on camera.
Just went in before. Okay.
How'd it go?
Good. I mean, now I gotta start it, or not start it up, but test everything, make sure everything clicks and solenoids are making noises that they should. And it should be good to go. Gonna do that here now.
Looks like everything's hidden, can't see nothing.
Yeah, right. Not a single thing. I didn't look like we did anything. So that'll be nice.
Everything's back together under the engine bay. All we had to do was add a vacuum line to the bottom side of that charge pipe there. You can't even see it. Matt welded a bung in there for us, and we ran all the vacuum lines into the car. So those are all good. Everything's together here. Pretty much complete, ready to go back on the ground. So we're doing pretty good so far today. The tires finally came in for the New York car. I dropped them off next door to get them mounted up. So you guys will see that soon. Because the next thing we're going to do after the fire chicken is gone is probably work on getting the New York car done so it can go to the tune and be done. Because we've pretty much wrapped up everything else on that. We're changing the fuel system up, as Dan told you guys in the last video. So the last components that we need to finish the fuel system came in today. So that thing should be back running tonight, if not tomorrow morning. And then we can focus on some of these old projects that have been sitting around that have not been touched, like a wiring job on the Camaro and the notch outside. But we're starting to gain some momentum, and we're going to keep that momentum going, baby. Let's go.
So we got it all done in the car and running.
Oh, there you go.
Now they're just testing everything out. Trans brake works, line lock works, trans fan works. Gotta mess around with the leash. Just trying to get the setup for getting to go.
So, all right, so your first one is it's going to go to 2 pounds, right? When you start to accelerate.
that's a wrap on the Trans Am. It is now gone. Greg came and picked her up. Everything's all good. Clean the shop floor. Everything finally, because wiring makes a mess, especially when you're just obviously shipping wires back and all that stuff, whatnot and everything. But Nicholas got the new fuel lines on all the way from the front to the back. New tank is in. Straps are on. Aftermarket straps don't really fit the best, but he made it work. Got them all good. Now we got our waiting on solid upper bushings because the ones that were in it were junk. Someone tried to half remove the old ones and really didn't do a good job. They're like, ah, screw it, we'll just put polys in it and leave it as B. And that's not the right way to do it. So we are now removing them fully and putting new ones in. But everything went well with the Trans Am. Everything worked after a little relay mishap. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Threw the painless harness at a 5-pin and it was sending power to stuff that it shouldn't send power to. So we had to rewire the relay setup for it into the painless, but it ended up all working. Line lock worked, trans fan worked, trans brake worked. Obviously, we're gonna have another curly Q button to test if the bump worked, but assuming so, it's all wired properly, should be good to go. That came out very nice. You didn't even notice that we added in anything onto that car. All the lines were nice and tucked, all the wires were hidden and wired accordingly, so perfect. Greg said he was very happy with it all. Like I said, didn't even look like we touched anything, so that was good. He was ecstatic about that. And it sounded pretty good, as you can see in the video. But we didn't get to test it on camera because it's not tuned. Next stop is to Assc with Larry to get tuned and see what she makes, because it is on twin 450s for a fuel system. I don't know, and E85, so we'll see what that can do. You saw, I don't know if we posted, we didn't post anything about Wilson's car, I don't think. But we had a similar buddy who's got a similar setup, make some power. So we'll see what this one can do, and yeah, hopefully we'll give you a little update on that. Maybe we'll get to see the dyno video on it. But
we're gonna have to show him how to use the leash anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have to show Greg how to get the leash set up and what to do. So we'll probably obviously have test days at the track as well. See that thing run down, and that'll be pretty fun. Trans brake's a little funky on this 4L60. It's a Rossler trans brake setup, but we'll see what happens. It's got to be, you know, dialed in. He's gonna message the guy and see what he says and kind of go from there. But
well, the only thing that's really weird about it is that you can't use it without manually putting it in first gear. Yeah, you can't put it in drive. That's the only thing that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Once it's in drive, it works fine.
Right.
I mean, once it's in first.
Yeah, if you put the car in first, the trans brake works and holds everything, but for some reason in drive, it does not want to hold the car. So
like Greg likes to drive it in drive, so now it's like totally changing his rhythm because now he's got to put it in first, hold the trans brake, let go of the trans brake, and shift it.
yeah, it'll be a learning curve, but we'll see if maybe the trans tuning can help with that to get it so it actually kicks on in drive, and then he has less to worry about, less headache and all that. So that should be good. They'll be coming here shortly. Like I said, hopefully we'll have track updates and dyno. But that's a wrap on the Trans Am project. Like I said, he was ecstatic with it, and that's a wrap on the Fox for today. We are now going to be waiting on some parts, as usual. But yes, sir. Oh, we did get the tires. We didn't go get them though. I think you already mentioned in the video. We did get the tires finally for the New York car. They are over at Antioch Automotive getting the wheels and tires put together, obviously in balance, and then we will throw them up on the New York car, and that'll be finally set up for that. Finally got the fuel fittings in to redo the lines and the engine bay because we were wanting to be nice and hidden. And then that thing should be a wrap to get ready to go to Assc as well.
We should be done with that car tomorrow, right?
New York car?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be.
How close to your face are you right now?
I've been holding it like this all the time.
See, like you're doing the bottom right here.
I was doing both.
I know, but if you twist it away from you, you get like another like 8 inches.
8 inches, jeez, that's how you.
I know. see, here you go.
That's what you tell the ladies, 8 inches. That was
You
a.
do get like a solid 6. That's a solid 6.
Yeah.
And keep it downward angle.
But that'll be a wrap for today. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.